What an unfortunate game just played by the San Francisco 49ers as they fall to the Cleveland Browns 19-17. What an ugly game. And we're going to talk about it all right after this. But you already know what to do. Drop an SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and we're going to break it all down and react to what we just saw right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. All right, I'm fresh off doing the post-game reaction show on Bleacher Report, and the chat wasn't too happy. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that the chat's not going to be too happy over here either. We've got some things to talk about. What didn't go right, which was a lot for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll talk about what went right, how do they get better, and how to quantify what we just saw. Oh gosh. Let's go high level and then we'll drill down to specifics. High level, bad game. It's just really what it came down to. It was a bad game. Now, it wasn't all bad, right? Because all things considered, the San Francisco 49ers were in position to win the football game. They just didn't. But there was bad offense, bad defense, bad reffing, bad field conditions, bad performances. Wasn't the best, right? We've seen much better from the San Francisco 49ers. This was, if I had to think back, maybe like Chiefs. We haven't seen a game this bad since the Chiefs. But this game was bad for different reasons. Bad for different reasons. One of the reasons being injuries is that we had some early injuries on the offensive side of the football. Brock obviously had to deal with Christian McCaffrey leaving around the middle of the game, and then Debo left early. The reports that we have gotten about Debo Samuel so far is that Debo had an X-ray, and it does appear that he was able to avoid any kind of structural damage. He's still going to have an MRI, but the thought is he's going to be fine. That is from Jordan Schultz of The Score, who reported that earlier. So it does sound like Debo's going to be okay. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a long-term injury. Could be a nagging injury. We'll see how long it takes for Debo Samuel to get back, to see if he misses any time at all before the 49ers get ready to face the Minnesota Vikings next week. So we'll continue to see how that all plays out. But unfortunate, that's the first thing, is injuries, is the 49ers did not get out of this game healthy. And I think that's one of the more concerning things. Obviously, with Christian McCaffrey, we got to see what's going on with his oblique. How serious is that injury? Is he going to potentially miss any time with the oblique? Because as we know, 49ers go as McCaffrey goes. So that was a big, big loss early on in this game. And then we had the scare with Trent Williams. Trent Williams got rolled up on, and it does appear that he was seen with a walking boot. So we might have an ankle sprain for Trent Williams. So we're gonna have to see, is it high, is it low? There's a big difference between the two. We'd much rather have a low ankle sprain. But yeah, we got to figure out what's going on with Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. Obviously, injuries no good, but it is what it is. I don't think the injuries were the reason why the San Francisco 49ers lost, if that makes sense. Obviously, it played a role in them losing, but I don't think the 49ers lost due to specifically them losing Debo and CMC. And we know this because they were there ready to win it at the end with the leg of Jake Moody. But unfortunately, that is not what happened. Oh man, rough one for Moody because obviously he missed two kicks in this game, wasn't just one. And in a one possession game, uh, all the points mattered. Everything mattered in this one. And two rough misses. Again, one of the things to consider are the conditions. I do know that the wind was a factor, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Jake Moody's number one goal, number one responsibility uh, is to kick field goals, and especially in big time moments with the game on the line. So he unfortunately wasn't able to get that done today. And but it's just one of those things where it's like, was it unfortunate? Yes. Should we have won that game? Absolutely. But we got to ride it out. We got to ride it out with Jake Moody. We got to see how he bounces back, what that looks like. I know it stinks right now, but it's just something that we have to kind of deal with and kind of go with the ebbs and flows. Because let's keep it 100. It wasn't just Jake Moody who had a bad game. I would say the entire offense as a whole struggled today. Play calling, execution, quarterback, wide receivers, offensive line. It was kind of an entire group project where we all kind of struggled uh, from the beginning. I just realized I haven't even thought about it yet, but that was Brock Purdy's first regular season loss. And Brock definitely didn't have his best game. If we want to start with the offensive side, what worked, what didn't work, offense didn't look good. Um, they kept getting behind the sticks early. And when we say behind the sticks, like this 49ers offense is predicated on getting chunk yardage on first and second down to put them in third and manageable. And then that's where they start cooking and they start get into a rhythm. But the 49ers weren't able to do that. They were constantly losing yards on first down, whether they were getting stuffed, whether it was penalties. What the penalties were the killer. Um, whether it's these things, it was constantly putting them behind the eight ball. And if there's anything we know about this 49ers offense, is that is like a death wish for them because they're not built to complete third and 12s, third and 15s. That's just not how it works. You get third and long, you know exactly what's happening. It's going to be a screen, it's going to be a draw. That's about it. They're not built to be going for third and longs. So They just constantly found themselves on the wrong side of the sticks. Those first and they it was crazy. It just felt like they were constantly out of sorts on first down, second down, to the point where it's just like, man, three and out, three and out, three and out, three and out. No rhythm, constantly putting the defense back out there. It was one of the first times that we saw Brock Purdy like look human. The throws that we've become so accustomed to making, he missed. He missed a couple behind Brandon Ayuk. But again, there's a duality to it. He missed Ayuk, and Ayuk dropped a couple. So you compound those things together of, Brock not having the greatest day, Ayuk not having the greatest day, the offense not having the great offensive line not having the greatest day. I don't know. Is Kyle Shanahan not in his bag today? All of it combined on top of the weather, on top of playing against the number one defense in the NFL, just was a really ugly game for the 49ers offense. With that being said, they still drove down. They still drove down the field with a minute 40 left and put this team in position to win the game. This is a game they should have won, even with how poorly they played, even with how disjointed they were. They still should have won this game, which again, to me, is still indicative of how good they are. I think that's important to remember as everyone's trying to do their post-mortem on this game. This is probably one of the worst games you could have played for the San Francisco 49ers offensively, yet they still drove down the field with the last drive and put themselves in position to win the football game. So I expect this team to improve based on this win. I don't think that this proves that I've seen a lot of people say 49ers are exposed. I don't think we got exposed. I think we just had one of those days where it wasn't clicking. And again, when you shoot yourself in the foot, that's what it is. The 49ers lost to themselves today. We're going to get to the refs in a second, and I'm going to give credit to the Cleveland Browns defense. Their defense played good, and their offense made enough plays to keep it close. But ultimately, it was the 49ers who beat themselves. 49ers beat themselves today. I'm not going to blame the refs, even though the refs were god-awful terrible. The refs were terrible today. And I haven't seen a game that poorly officiated in a long time. It felt like from start to finish, these refs wanted their fingerprints all over this game. And it was just egregious call after egregious call after egregious call. Refs owe Bosa a touchdown. I agree. I think that was a terrible call. They had multiple calls in this game that swung the outcome. That's not what you want. But again, to not blame the refs, the refs are going to ref. The refs are going to have terrible calls. But as the 49ers, you can't put yourself in that position to have the refs change the outcome of the game. I agree that should have been a touchdown. I think the refs blew that entire situation because what I think the refs should have done is the refs should have let the play go and continue. If you have a bang bang play that looks like a fumble, but also could have been an incomplete pass, you don't blow the whistle. You let it play out. You let them scoop it up. You let them run into the end zone. You call it a touchdown, and then you go to the booth and you review it. All turnovers are reviewed, and you let it go. You see what the outcome of the play is, and then you go and review it. That's how these refs should have managed that particular play. And they didn't. They had itchy trigger fingers. They blew the whistle. They blew it dead. Apparently, there was inconclusive evidence to change the play on the field, and they got away with one. They got away with one. The other bad calls were on that final drive that the 49ers or that the Cleveland Browns on that 3rd and 10 to Tashawn Gibson. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Tashawn Gibson, that was a clean play, bang bang play, and they got it wrong. Plain and simple. And again, another play that changes the outcome of the game. That was 3rd and 10. Would have been 4th and 10. Would have been Cleveland Browns punting to the San Francisco 49ers with the lead. And again, big play that changes the outcome. And then you had the terrible holding. I thought it was a terrible call, the defensive holding on Mooney Ward. I didn't think that was a call worthy of a penalty at all. But again, regardless of those situations and regardless of that playing out, the San Francisco 49ers are still in position to win the football game. That's the thing, is that even with all of these things going against them, the injuries, the bad penalties, the good plays, and let's not discredit the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns had some good plays on the day, but ultimately it was the San Francisco 49ers who had an opportunity to win it, and they missed their shot. Chinese proverb says, prosperity has its roots in calamity. Were you not faithful, this too shall pass. Balance in the universe will return. Go 49ers. Shout out Old Man Rock for laying some wisdom on us after a pretty unfortunate loss. Because this is a game the 49ers should have won. They should have won it. The 49ers should be 6-0. We should be talking about how, man, that game was too close for comfort, but we got out of there with the dub. That's what we should be talking about. Just not the case. Glass City says Brock had a rough game. The O-line needs to do some soul searching, but watching him drive the team down to kick the field goal was encouraging. This team still kept it close, even though they played their worst game. Adversity. I agree, Glass City, and appreciate the super chat. I mean, I agree that there's the silver lining. The silver lining is the 49ers played one of their worst games imaginable, lost 2 impact starters on offense, and still put themselves in position to win this game against the number 1 rated defense in the NFL. I think I saw a quote come through on Twitter from a player who said that they didn't feel the 49ers deserved to win this game. I feel that. I can understand that. Like, I think the 49ers understand how poorly they played, right? Like, by no stretch of the imagination was this a good game on all 3 phases. Like, typically we come on lives after games and we're talking about all 3 phases played well. We had miscues in all 3 phases. We had miscues, obviously, on the kicking team. We had miscues on offense and defense. Defense made some big plays, though. I mean, that Diamador Lenore interception was huge. That set up Jordan Mason for the touchdown. Like, that was huge sequence. Huge sequence to keep them close, to keep them in it. But, man, we should have given it to Mason and not kneeled. I get it, but you wanna be able to trust your kicker in that spot. So, like, I don't mind the thought process. Obviously, after the fact, it sucks, but I don't mind the thought process. It was within Moody's range, um, and that's why you got a guy like that to be able to make those kicks. Obviously, he didn't make the kick, which is unfortunate. Uh, but you know, it's tough. It's tough. Obviously, ideally, we score there, but who knows what happens if there's a fumble that occurs, whatever. So, honestly, I think, what did I grade this? I grade this, and if you guys want to drop your grades in the chat, feel free to go for it. But I graded this as a C minus. And the reason why I graded it as a C minus is because they still were in position to win this game. They still, under all the crazy circumstances of not playing well, the refs, the Browns playing well, all of it, they were still in position to win this game. So that's why I gave it a C minus. Because if they would have made the field goal, I would have only bumped it up to a C plus. I don't think this was a B game, even with the W. This would have been a C plus if it was a win. But the reason I'm not giving it a C minus either is, or a below a C minus, is because they still had a chance to win this game. So, what is this week going to look like? This week's going to look like everyone piling on. Everyone is going to come after the 49ers, Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, see, I told you so, all that stuff. Get ready because it's coming out the woodworks. People are going to be hating on us big time. And to be honest, I get it. You know, you put out that type of performance, you don't come away with the win. Yeah, people are going to hate. I have no problems with it. I really don't. Let people take their victory laps. We'll hold this L, and the hope is that we're not holding it for very long, and then we pass it right back on over to the Vikings next week. Because again, we didn't play a good game. The 49ers did not play a good game. So it's just tough. It's just tough. And nothing like a swift kick to the teeth to kind of realign a little bit, to kind of readjust the mojo, to be like, oh yeah, like if we don't go out and perform, we will get kicked in the teeth. So that's what happened. And the 49ers fall to a backup quarterback. Again, PJ Walker, like I said, I talked about PJ Walker earlier this week. I said that I've liked PJ Walker when he was in the XFL. I thought he was a decent quarterback with the Panthers. He wasn't perfect on the day, but he made enough plays down the stretch to keep them in it, and that's all they needed. That's the thing with the 49ers that we're going to have to be aware of as the team moves forward. These were the same talking points that we made last year. When they keep teams around, that's when we should be nervous. When teams are within a reach, like within reaching distance, that's just that's just not that's just not the ideal spot we want to be in, where we keep teams around. The 49ers, when they keep teams around, it seemingly has a negative effect on them, and we don't want to see that. But man, yeah, that was a tough one. That was a really tough loss because it was ugly. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those self-inflicted wound games. It was one of those games where you shoot yourself in the foot repeatedly over and over again. I still think the 49ers are the better team. It's not that the 49ers aren't the better team. It was just a bad loss. It was just really ugly. So the silver lining is that this team is still going to be good, right? They're still going to be a quality team moving forward. But man, we can't slip like that. Can't slip for a whole game. Offensively, defensively. I mean, defensively, think about it. We held them to 19 and they got some of those points because of the ref. That's typically a game that we think the 49ers should win. So just wasn't our day on offense. Even though we put together that the potential game-winning drive, just wasn't able to connect at the end. And so it's tough, man. Wanted that one. Not going to lie to you. I wanted the 49ers to be 6-0 right now. That's really what I wanted. I wanted to be going into Monday Night Football still on top. But there's nothing wrong with an early season humbling. I don't think. I never thought that this team was going to go undefeated. Okay? I didn't look at this even with the 49ers being 5-0. I still didn't think they were going to go undefeated. And we talk about it every year, every season. Trap games, they are real. Trap games exist. And this had all the makings of a trap game. So it is what it is. We got trapped. Midwest, 10 a.m. start, poor conditions. Refs were after us, it felt like. And then the 49ers just didn't play their game. So you combine all those things. All right. We took the L. Again, to me, the positives is that they put themselves in a position to win. Okay? They didn't make the kick. All right? Not good. Jake Moody's got to make those kicks. That's what it comes down to. Again, I know he's a rookie, and we have to figure out. We got to figure out how this guy's confidence is. This is a pivotal point for him because what he has to do is be able to move beyond this and put this behind him and not let this linger into next week. What we want to see from Jake Moody is Jake Moody go out and make some kicks against the Vikings. We have to see Shanahan continue to put him in positions of building confidence. So, long 40-yarder, long 45-yarder, 50-yarder, bring out Moody. You got to keep putting them out there. You can't shy away from it. Can't shy away from it this time. So, we'll see. Obviously, unsettling. The hope is in the next couple months we get Jake Moody battle tested. And you guys have to remember, you want to see Robbie back? That's fine. I understand it. But Robbie didn't make every game-winning field goal that he's ever gone up against. You can't pretend like Robbie was perfect. And this is part of growth for all players. Brock is going to learn from this. Ayuk's going to learn. All these guys are going to learn from this game, because I think this is the type of game where the 49ers feel that this is their fault for why they lost. Not because they got beat necessarily by the Cleveland Browns, but because they messed it up. So, we gotta live, we gotta ride and die right now, unfortunately, with Moody. We got to go through the highs, we got to go through the lows. And hey, next time Jake Moody makes a game winner, we'll be all right. We'll be fine. The thing is we got to make sure it just doesn't become a trend. That's it. Stay away from the trends and all that type of stuff. Jim Schwartz seems to have Kyle's number. Yeah, seemingly. Seemingly, Schwartz is I think he's now 8-1 against Kyle Shanahan. I mean, you want to talk about owning someone. That's ownage, I would say. I would say that's some ownage for Schwartz to be 8-1 against Kyle. So you got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to figure out what to improve from this game. So this tape is going to be interesting this week. It's going to be interesting. Let's talk about some good things that the defense did. The defense, we saw Randy Gregory's first sack. We got a Nick Bosa sack, Diamador Lenore interception, Fred Warner interception. Man, again, I don't want to blame those stupid penalties for this loss, but because the 49ers put themselves in this position. But those penalties, like, oh my gosh, they're killing me that I just think about it. Those refs are so bad. They were so bad. The refs were terrible. And again, it's not the refs' fault why the 49ers lost. I'm going to say that. Did they change the outcome of the game? Absolutely. But they're not the reason why. It's the 49ers, man. They should have won that game. But that doesn't mean that I can't be pissed off at the refs. Doesn't mean we can't call them out and be like, yeah, well, you did potentially change the outcome of that game. But ultimately, it's still on the 49ers to get it done. Yeah, tape. We've been good so far. We've had some fun film breakdowns. This one's going to be interesting. This one's going to be interesting to see what we get. What we get is the pass rush better with Gregory. He had the sack, but it was on a loop. Was the pass rush consistently better with Gregory? What is coverage looking like? Obviously, offensively, I'm going to be really honed in on the offensive line because I know the offensive line, they were aggressive against the 49ers offense. They were throwing stunts, and from what I've seen, blitzes at the offensive line, and they were finding holes in the protection. So I want to see what happened with the offensive line. And again, it was an off day for Brock. I haven't seen Brock off like that before. So it was just a perfect storm. Ayuk dropped like 3 or 4 passes. He dropped a perfect deep shot from Purdy. So it's just like, oh, it's just one of those games, man. One of those games. And I think this is the perfect way to say it. It was a humbling loss. This is one of those, all right. This is one of those look yourselves in the mirror type games. Like we shouldn't have lost this game. Like this, we beat ourselves. Again, we're not blaming the refs. The refs were trash, but we're still not blaming the refs. 49ers lost this game. 49ers were the issue in this game. The main issue. Were the refs an issue? Of course. But it ultimately came down to the 49ers, how they played, how they executed. So, we'll see. We'll see what we get on tape. Tape's going to tell us what really happened. So, I'm not excited to get into it, but I think we deserve to look at it. We need to look at it. We need to break down this tape. I don't think this is tape that you throw away. You hear that a lot after bad games, right? Oh, just throw it out. Throw it out. Don't look at it. It was an anomaly. Move beyond it. I don't think this is throwaway tape. I don't. Clearly, Schwartz put together a game plan that made it really difficult on the 49ers offense, made it difficult in the running game. And I want to know why. I want to try to pick apart the trends to try to understand, was it just the 49ers putting themselves in bad spots, or was it the defense that found something and exploited it? I want to see that. Defensively, we talked about what I want to see. So one of the positive things, though, is even though that was probably one of Brock Purdy's worst games we've seen, Brock still drove him down the field to put him in position to win the game. Again, this, for how sucky this game was, there is positives to take away from this. Brock, it was like what? We had the 3rd and 10. He completed the 3rd and 10. Ayuk goes on that big run over the middle of the field. Brock hits Juwan Jennings on the out. So even though Brock had his worst game probably as a 49er, when it was on the line to win the game, Brock still drove him downfield. So that's a positive to me. The things that Brock missed are correctable. I don't look at those things where like he can't improve upon that. You had a lot of pressure. We had a slick ball, and Brock just felt a little uneasy more than normal. So you take all those things together, and that defense was getting after him. We'll see. We'll see what the tape says. Right now, it feels like he played really bad. Right now, it feels like the O-line played really bad. But we will take a look once we get into the tape. And all things considered, Brock still drove him down the field. Still put him in position to make the kick. We just missed it. And that would change the entire tone of today, right? Because if we make that kick, we're like, thank goodness we won, because that game was terrible, but we won, right? We were we were this we were like this far from the right upright from saying, all right, we got the W, but that was a bad game. Now it was, all right, that was a bad game, and we blew it at the same time. So it feels a lot worse. But man, we'll see. Gregory played pretty well. I'm excited to see what that looks like on tape. And that, yeah, we gave up one touchdown. We only gave up 19 points. And some of those points you can credit to the refs, I would say. But it's not the end of the world. I'll say that. I'm not going to sit here and say the 49ers are overrated. They're pretenders and we got exposed. I don't think that's the case. I don't think we got exposed. I think getting exposed is what happened to the Dallas Cowboys last week. That's getting exposed. What we did is we, more than anything else, had self-inflicted wounds. We had injuries and we had bad calls and we didn't execute. We didn't have a good game plan. All those things combined, it was a perfect storm. It was a perfect storm for us to not win that game, and we still almost won it. So I don't think they got exposed. I don't think that I would assume that this is going to be one of the worst losses that we have all year. And there's tons of room to get better from this. This is still the team to beat in the NFL. And that's how it is. And the Browns just won their Super Bowl. Congrats to them. They made it hard on us. They made it tough. They were like a gnat that wouldn't go away. And combined with some calls that went their way, hey, they got the dub. We didn't execute. We didn't finish the job. That's on us. That's not getting exposed. We didn't finish the job. We didn't take care of business. That's not getting exposed. So I've seen a lot of people, and we're going to hear a lot of that this week from fans. Oh, you guys got exposed. Y'all are frauds. Fraud alert. Fraud what? No, don't buy it. Don't buy any of it. 49ers played one of the worst games we'd seen in a full calendar year and still almost won. So we'll be all right. Bounce back. I could imagine these guys are going to be very focused heading into this next week. Hopefully that is the case. Rum says, is it true Moody has never made a game-winning field goal in his career? That is extremely concerning if true. I think it was he's never had a walk-off winning field goal. So, yes, in a sense. Like, basically that situation that he had, he's never had that experience. He had it in the Denver Broncos game, right? Where it was literally I felt like I was watching the Denver Broncos game, the preseason game all over again. Remember when Trey drove him down the field and then kneeled like 3 times and let Moody kick it? It was like the same sequence. They got into close enough range. They let the clock run out. They clocked it. And they let Moody trot out there. They didn't take a shot at the end zone. They didn't want to take a shot at turning the ball over. And they wanted to put it in their kicker's hands. Or foot, I should say. And yes, when I remember it vividly, when Moody kicked the game winner, the walk-off winner against the Denver Broncos in the preseason, Moody said he's never had a walk-off kick before, all throughout college, like a walk-off game winner. So, obviously preseason doesn't count. So if he would have made this kick, that would have been his first ever real um, walk-off game winner. Clearly, with Jake Moody, his problem isn't his talent. Right now, it's inside here. It's confidence. And that was one of the main concerns that I had when the 49ers drafted him in the third, was that there's so much pressure that's going to be put on him. That would make it really, really tough on him, because there's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations. Ian Rappaport just reiterated that Deebo Samuel's x-ray were negative. Obviously, we already know that. So we'll wait and see what's going down with Deebo. But boy, that one was brutal. That one was brutal. I would say this, though. This would be my advice on how to feel. And again, take it for what it's worth. But I'm not freaking out about this game. This game freaking sucks to lose. They shouldn't have lost. If you want to be pissed about this loss, if you want to be like, this ruined my Sunday, I feel you. This sucks. It's going to be a long week. No Victory Monday. It's going to be a long week. But this is a long-term process. And based on what I've seen from a long-term process, I'm not concerned. Biggest concerns right now, Jake Moody and his confidence. Can we get Jake Moody to feel confident in these situations moving forward? So the process is, we aren't going to shy away from these situations. We need to put Moody in these situations more. We need to get him on the field, kicking more field goals in high stress, in adverse environment. We need to push him out there. This is trial by fire for Jake Moody. I don't think we should give up on Jake Moody. I think we should push him out there more. I think we should, all right, get out there, Moody. Go kick that field goal. Just got to keep pushing him out there. Silver linings, 49ers still almost won this game. So this game sucks today. It sucks when we're going to break down the tape. But this, to me, doesn't put in jeopardy their playoff hopes. This, to me, doesn't put in jeopardy what we would consider a Super Bowl caliber team. I don't think that this team was like, oh, see, look, they're not a Super Bowl caliber team. That's not my main takeaway from today. My main takeaway is every dog has their day. And coincidentally enough, it was the Browns who had a day. And again, it's their Super Bowl. They're playing up to us, right? And we played down, I would say. We didn't play 49ers football. We didn't execute. We made boneheaded mistakes. We were dropping passes. We were missing passes. We weren't blocking. Bad penalties. We didn't play 49ers football today. But we know what 49ers football looks like. So, I'm all right. I'm going to be upset today, I'm going to be pissed today. I'll probably be a little grumpy all week. But as long as we rebound on Monday night against the Vikings, we'll be all right. And we'll be back on track. So took the L. We'll hold the L. We're going to stew on this L. Be grumpy because of this L. But I like what Fred Warner is saying. I like that Fred Warner said we needed this loss. We needed a game like this because they know, man. You get riding high. You get a little fat and cocky. Sitting in your chair. It happens. Nothing like an L to refocus you. Get you back on track. You know, get you locked in. So, not ideal. Definitely a tough one. Shouldn't have lost that one. My biggest thing, get out of here with no serious injuries. No serious injuries to Trent. No serious injuries to CMC. Sounds like Debo's going to be okay. I think we'll be all right. No need to hit the panic button. If you want to hit the pissed off button, sure. But no need to panic. 49ers are going to be okay. We're going to be all right. So shout out to all you guys. Got our first L of the season. I guess that's another silver lining. It's October 15th, and this is the first time we've gotten an L. So, in a game that we should have won. Oh, God. See, that's what's going to piss me off. I'm trying to be positive about it, but we should have won this game. That's why it's frustrating. It's because we should have won this game. Still didn't play well, but we should have won this game. And we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Don't you worry your little heads. We're going to be okay. 49ers, hey, the path to success is never easy. And this kind of stuff happens. So regroup, get ready to go, and focus on next week. Shout out to all you guys. Appreciate you all for tapping in to the post-game show. Try to enjoy your Sundays as best you can. Don't get too upset. Sucks, but I hope people are talking all Eagles when we go to Philly. Plus, rather take a loss now to an AFC team than later when it matters more. I agree. Thankfully, it wasn't to a division opponent, a conference opponent. It's fine. And hey, we like the underdog role a little bit. So this gets us right back in the crosshairs of everyone talking crap about us, talking crap about our quarterback, talking crap about our offense, talking crap about Kyle Shanahan. Just wait for the national media this week. They are going to cook. They're going to cook us, and I'm looking forward to it. And this is what we're going to get all year. So be prepared. National media's sharpening their pitchforks. They're coming after the Brock Purdy-led San Francisco 49ers, and we're going to be here for it. So just got to keep getting dubs and keep fighting for home field advantage. Shout out to all you guys. Appreciate you as always. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow for an unfortunate non-victory Monday. Oh well. Let's enjoy what everyone has to say about us this week, because we're gonna get some takes. I promise you. Appreciate you guys. I'm out here for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.